This is footballers' worst looks. First up, Marouane Fellaini with his Mickey Mouse hairdo. I mean, like, Fellaini was a player that I really enjoyed having in the Premier League. Like, he played the game with passion and aggression, and was always like a liability on the pitch. And as he never played for my team, I loved his presence in the Premier League because he was always just an absolute loose cannon. And that Barnet, it's like, no matter how many times it got yanked at, or like he got fouled or impeded at corners, like he persisted with it for year after year after year. Imagine the weight of it when it got wet, cold Tuesday night in Stoke. That soaking great big afro, it must have been like lugging that round the pitch alone. Like, you've got to respect the guy. And then he's gone to Italy and he's thought, you know what, I need a new look. Maybe I could shave my head, I could cornrow it, I could centre part it, maybe straighten it out into some curtains. And he's gone, no, I am an icon and I will borrow from another icon, Mickey Mouse. And he's ended up with this. And I gotta say, I got a lot of respect for that. Got a lot of respect for this guy. Next up, a legend, Chris Waddle. And this was Italia 90, when football changed forever. For our younger viewers who don't remember that tournament, it was the World Cup of Paul Gascoigne in Sardinia. Gary Lineker, top scorer of the tournament. Of course, it all ended in tears one night in Rome, the World Cup semi-final, when England famously lost on penalties to the Germans. And that night, a English centre-back, was he centre-back or a central midfielder? Doesn't matter, not important. Anyway, Chris Waddle missed the vital penalty, and it is testament, right, to this haircut that even though he missed probably the most important penalty that has ever been taken in the history of English football, nobody remembers that. All they remember is this haircut. They remember that he played an entire tournament of elite football with some roadkill stapled to the back of his head. And you know what? It kind of worked, didn't it? Because no one talks about the penalty, they talk about this. They talk about this haircut. They talk about the mullet. So if you are planning on going to a major tournament and missing a crucial penalty, just make sure you do so with an absolutely atrocious haircut. And then that's all anyone will talk about. He was a smart guy, ahead of his time. Next up, we have Phil Foden. I would say this is the lads look. Lads on tour. Those shorts are dangerously high. Got the fanny pack, the designer logo. It's giving very Ocean Beach Club, loitering around Wayne Lineker's table, downing Smirnoff Ices. It's a really strong look. And that haircut as well, that looks like Mum's just taking the scissors straight across. I got a lot of time for this look. Got a lot of time for Phil Foden. Wow, David Beckham, cultural icon. It's amazing to think that this guy is now someone that people look up to as this bastion of style. They forget that there was an era when David Beckham was rocking out ensembles like this on a regular basis. Lest we forget, okay? This is where he has come from. Like, that's how impressive a glow up he has had, that this is how he used to dress. I mean, what was he thinking? A cow had to die for that look. The poor cow. That's all I can think about. Another Beckham one, which, look, I can pour scorn on it as much as I want, but this was definitely a look that I tried to emulate and definitely spent most of my teens in a very similar pair of baggy jeans, in a very similar shirt, and with dyed bleach blonde hair that I'd pulled back into a man bun as well. This was a look that I thought at the time was the coolest thing I'd ever seen, and I tried to mimic it exactly. So look, those in glass houses, don't throw stones, okay? I don't have a bad word to say about this look. This was cool. okay? It was the noughties. It was a different time. It was a different time, okay? I know that's the excuse they tend to use for like historic nonsense, and this, in a way, is a kind of similar thing. It's a historic crime that we're not proud of, but this is how we dressed back then, okay? So just accept it, okay? Times are different now, but this was cool back then. Trust me, it definitely was. Now, Robbie Savage. I mean, what a knob. Like, he's not helping himself. Already, you know, he's having to fight against the fact that he is Robbie Savage. Like, don't dress like this as well. He looks like someone's lesbian aunt. Like, why aren't you wearing socks? Like, what is this? You're there to be the pundit of a football game. It's just, that in itself is a tragedy enough. If you were playing in that game and you saw Robbie Savage on the touchline dressed like that, I mean, you would be queuing up to wing the ball into the back of his head, wouldn't you? It's a travesty. It's a travesty. Wow. I mean, some world-class players here, but that is just, what is this? This, again, it's like very noughties. It's giving kind of NSYNC tribute act. I mean, when Messi is the best dressed of you as well, I think you've got to worry. Like Ronaldo, again, like someone who, you know, he really is the forebearer of this kind of like Euro trash look, and he's had some absolute howlers over the years. You know, he may be the GOAT on the pitch, but when it comes to dressing, he really needs some assistance. I mean, look, you've got one job to get right when you're being announced on the pitch. Like, they're going to give you the jersey of your new club, you're holding up the scarf. All you've got to get right is just put on some non-offensive trousers that morning, and two like real misfires here from Kleberson and Cristiano Ronaldo. These jeans, like, again, Ronaldo like did not sign for Manchester United in 1972 when I think those jeans were an acceptable look. This is in the noughties, okay? No one dressed like that then. Like, he came from Portugal, right? Not like New York, 1972. It's giving John Travolta Saturday Night Fever. So yeah, that's terrible. And the hair as well. Oof. Like, other than, I think, maybe like the French exchange student rat tail, I don't think there is a worse look than the gelled up, Brill cream frosted tips. But this was an inauspicious start to Cristiano Ronaldo's style journey at Manchester United. Steven Gerrard, again, like, great player, but an appalling dresser. I mean, this is not a good look for him. It's, again, very leather jacket, and I mean, the sturdy boot though, I'll give him that. Like, you know, if he'd been wearing those Timberland boots in that famous game against Chelsea, he probably wouldn't have slipped, because they look like they've got a lot of grip on them. I mean, I don't know where to look. I mean, this is like, I've never seen so much cleavage on a man or a woman. Rio Ferdinand, like, what are you thinking? I mean, it's just, why is there even a shirt that is made with a neckline that is this low? This is not even plunging. It has hurled itself off the side of a cliff. I literally can't look down. This is a very, very unnerving shirt. Rio really should know better. Also, he's a tall guy, which means that for most people, they would be right at nip height. So anyone talking to him would have just been staring directly into the chasm that is his male cleavage. I mean, it's not nice. It's not nice for anyone. No. Hard no. Not hard. Not hard. I'm not looking down. I'm looking at his eyes, okay? Soft no. It's soft. Really weird. I don't like this. I'm really uncomfortable.